Babel is a very fun narrative that really dissects some heavy topics. And I want to talk about this, highlighting the fact that I'm a straight white woman, okay? Oh, shocker. Oh my God, I didn't know if you guys knew. I'm a straight whitey, okay? There is a journey to allyship, always, that I am dedicated for the rest of my life to learning how to be a better ally. And I will stumble along the way, and I have, but I'm dedicated. And reading books like this, where this is a diverse group of friends, and there's one whitey, and it was gag because some of the reasoning that the whitey, her name is Letty, some of the reasoning that she gives for why her worldview is the way that it is how my family talks. And I really want to applaud Rebecca Kuang for this isn't some gimmicky, trying to fit into the dark academia trope and trying to like shoehorn in anti-colonialism. This book approaches it in a way that is so deeply empathetic, that is eye-opening, that is truth-telling, it's honest, it's historically pretty fucking accurate for a historical fiction. I mean, it's a fantasy. There's a magic system in this book. The way that she articulates both sides of the pro-colonialism and anti-colonialism argument is indicative of someone who really understands the issue. And she is an Asian American author who has her PhD, is so wickedly intelligent. And some of the footnotes in this book are really, really good. I like the fact that, the story is told through our main character, Robin Swift, who is a young Chinese boy who is brought over to the United Kingdom, to London, by this white British professor. And he essentially grooms this young boy into being a weapon, a tool for empire. And not to give too much away, but the whole functioning of this society, which is Oxford in the 1830s, the whole reason that the world works is these silver bars that are imbued with magic. And the magic, get this, gag, comes from language, comes from the power of translation. And by the way, any of you bitches that told me to read this 2 years ago and I told you to fuck off, sorry. I'd like to apologize to everyone right now because this book is amazing and it's totally up my alley and it's everything I love about reading. It's everything I love about learning. It combined so many of my interests into this book. So the magic system relies on the power of translation and how words are power. Intelligence is power. And of course, there's so many underlying meanings. I'm so excited to talk about this fucking book. There's so many underlying meanings and kind of subliminal messages that is in that plot point. The power that these bars have, that power, electrical grids, and it makes carriages go faster and steam engines and all this. It's the power of connectivity through language. And I forget where this quote comes from, but it's so true that learning another language, speaking someone else's mother tongue, gives you a level of empathy and understanding that most people in this life, hear me, never achieve. Until you speak someone else's language, that is as close as you can get to walking in someone else's shoes. Seeing the world through their lens. Speaking about the world in their tongue. It is something that is unless you speak another language, it's very hard to describe. There is a magic in it. And there's a connectivity. So what really is gag about this book is because it's the fucking British Empire, she has this great quote in here that, of course, I highlighted and underlined the fuck out of this book, too. There's a great quote that says something to the effect of, the empire seeks to destroy that which it covets the most. So in this book, the way the magic system works is the rarer and more quote-unquote exotic the language is, the more powerful the translation bond is, therefore the silver bars are more powerful and they last longer. Whatever spell has been imbued into the silver. So Romance languages or translations from, say, English to French are not as strong as a translation from English to Cantonese or English to Sanskrit. So that's also, this is her subliminal messaging, which I'm like, I get you, girl. I get you, girl. I get you. This idea of the exotic, this idea of, at this time, India was still a colony, and pretty much the whole damn world was a colony of the British Empire. How the thing that when these British gentlemen would go on their grand tours around the world and they would go to all these different countries and experience the culture and the language and the music and the dance and the women and fucking whatever, they would take artifacts with them along the way. And so, for example, Professor Lovell, who is Robin Swift's guardian, the guy that like pretty much stole him from his homeland and groomed him, his house was filled with Chinese artifacts because it's like this fetishization. And of course, this isn't me being gagged at the idea of that. Like, of course, I know that this exists, but it's like the way that she fits that into the narrative is very reflective of how people really are. Like, there's people in my family whose homes, white people, whose homes are filled with Native American artifacts. Filled to the brim. Their entire decoration, the decor in their home is Native American. What? And then you don't want to talk ever about like what happened to the Native Americans and maybe who did that. Like there's no interest in the bloody history of it, but there is an interest in the aesthetic beauty of it. And that's another main point that she's making, which we know about colonialism, which we know about cultural appropriation. We know all these things, that you cherry pick the things you like about the cultures and you leave the rest of it. You don't really acknowledge the rest of it. And how, like, that is not a sustainable system. And so you find that out in a very literal sense in the end of this book. Okay. And I'm not going to ruin it because I was gagged.